Hello, fellow Jayhawks, and welcome back to another edition of Good Morning KU. I'm Michael Garrett.
And I'm Maddie Maloney.
So, Maddie, 'tis the season for
It
both
is.
Halloween
It's our
and
season.
basketball. Football's been rough this year, so
A little bit so, but I think things are looking up for us when it comes to basketball.
I think this is the light at the end of the tunnel right here as far as
Yes.
football season goes. We can kind of
Forget about it, push it to the side, because the main event is now here.
So this year obviously is big. We've got a
Yeah.
lot of new guys coming in, a lot of expectations. Obviously KU basketball is
Yeah.
always huge around here. But lottery on Monday. Were you there at lottery by chance?
No, I wasn't at the lottery, but it was like the third largest, right?
Yeah,
I heard it was insane.
It was ridiculous. There
wish I
was
wouldn't have missed it.
so many people. So 6 a.m. on a Monday. It's tough for college students to get there. There was at
Yeah.
least 2,000 students there, and like you said, third largest. So the largest we've ever had was the lottery for the KU-MU finale, and then after that it was the Ohio State game. That would have been my freshman year. That was crazy, but this one was really big, and it's for an exhibition game.
Yeah, which is pretty cool against Pitt State, like that we knew we were gonna win, but we just went crazy for it anyway. I don't know, that's just a good kickoff to the season. Just
really goes to show you that
spirit.
our fans are ready to go with that. So then the game last night, obviously KU won by like 40 points.
Yeah.
It was like 97
No,
to
it was
57.
insane. Just all pumped.
Does get us pumped, which we do have a really hard start to the season, so it's nice that we're kind of getting some games under our belt and
Yeah,
getting things going.
experience. Who do we play? Like our first actual game?
Our first actual game is a week from Friday against Louisiana Monroe.
And are they supposed to be good?
No, I mean
No.
it's a pretty small school.
Oh,
So
okay,
we'll
then.
probably beat them, but we do play Duke in a couple weeks, and Duke's supposed to be really good. Like Duke always is really good.
But we're always really good too.
We are always good. And that's actually part of the Champions Classic, which is played at a neutral site at the beginning of the year with Michigan State, Kentucky, and Duke.
Oh.
And so this year we're playing Duke. And we have yet to win a game in the Champions Classic, which I think is kind of embarrassing. So we have to beat Duke this year.
Absolutely.
We have to beat them because
Be a good goal.
going defeated in the Champions Classic would really be disappointing,
Yeah.
if you have my opinion. Also, other news with the basketball team, I don't know if you heard this last night, our point guard, Nadir Tharp, has been suspended for the first game of the season.
No,
So-
I didn't know. What happened?
Well, what happened was, so over the summer, he went to visit Jamari Traylor in Chicago.
Okay.
Because that's where Jamari's from. And if you know Nadir, he's from the Massachusetts area.
Okay.
So around Boston. And so the NCAA rule is if you're playing basketball outside of season, it has to be either in your college town, so they can play basketball like in Lawrence,
Okay.
or it has to be in your zone. So like he can only play in the Massachusetts
So like his
area.
hometown. Okay.
So around Boston.
And so he went and played.
So he played with Jamari at some kind
Oh.
of like pickup type game, and
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like
and
they
so-
can't play together like for fun. Like they're supposed to be athletes who love their sport.
yeah, it's just the
that's
NCAA
ridiculous.
being the NCAA. So
wow.
kind of unfortunate. So he misses a game. That's a self-imposed penalty on KU, which
Is it the first actual game?
yeah.
So it's against.
It'll be
yeah.
that Louisiana Monroe game.
So it won't be tough. We'll get through it.
We should be all right. I think they're planning on starting Frank Mason at the point guard, which will be interesting to see
Yeah.
how he does since he's so young. I mean, the whole team's young, so
But yeah, young but good and talented. So
I'm excited for it.
I am too.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll talk a little bit more KU basketball here in a second. But we're going to have Curtis Marsh from Gmku on the air to talk with us a little bit. So we'll be back in a second.
Now they're beating us on the boards out there, guys. This is your territory, Grimson. Do your job.
Grimson.
Hello?
Hi, honey. What? Now? All right. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, sweetheart.
Hey, it's my girl.
You know, my daughter.
Love. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Hey, and welcome back. We're here with Curtis Marsh, who's the director of KU Info. Curtis, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure, Michael. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, too. So it is a good morning. Basketball has started. I know you are a huge basketball fan
I love
yourself.
it. I love it. We didn't have to do lottery when I was a student.
Really?
But there was a reason for that.
What was the reason?
Well, we stayed overnight.
Oh, so you just stayed at the field house?
We were camping. No, you had to stay outside the field house.
So you slept like in tents outside
Yeah,
of the field
yeah.
house. I kind of like the alternative.
However, that meant instead of 70 student groups, we had like 10. So there
you
wasn't
really
as much
did get the best seats.
Yeah, I mean, if you were willing to camp overnight, which we probably shouldn't have done.
Those January mornings where it's snowing on the ground. And
As a matter of fact, there's a pretty lockstep reason for the way the system works now, and that is that athletics was so concerned that one of us was going to wake up dead from hypothermia or whatever, that they would string extension cords out, and we would have our electric blankets or our space heaters, but we also, of course, would bring the Nintendo and the stereo and stuff like that.
Right. Use it for not what it's supposed to be used for technically. But
Technically.
that's fun though. I'm sure there was some good bonding though, like camping out with your friends.
It was
a lot of
fun.
memories for KU basketball.
And the team would come by, late at night. The coaches wouldn't, but yeah, I mean, it was as much a camaraderie as it is now. It was just that at 2 in the morning instead of until 10.
So with KU Info, do you guys get a lot of questions about basketball? Do people call in a lot? I mean, I'm sure there's got to be something that they're curious about.
Absolutely. They're calling today about Nadir. Some folks think he's not going to play for 2 games, but that's because there's a confusion. Coach said we're probably going to play Frank Mason on Tuesday, but that doesn't mean he's not going to play. It means that he wants Frank to be ready for his new role.
And it's good to use an exhibition game to get your guy ready.
Absolutely. We got calls yesterday primarily about what channel is it going to be on. Lots of confusion about.
Right. There's been the new deal with KU athletics and the local TV stations.
What's ESPN3? I mean, what can I get it with my dish? Can I get it? Yeah. So lots of questions. We got. You were talking earlier today this morning about unprecedented lottery for an exhibition game, and I totally agree with you. But what was really neat was that we got a call yesterday saying when are they going to close the doors of the field house?
Really?
Which I assumed meant, we can be in the field house this morning during the day, but surely they're going to kick us out before. Well, that's not what they meant. They said, when are they going to stop letting students
People
in?
Which is actually interesting because I had a meeting. I didn't get to go to the actual game. I recorded it and watched it later. So I was at a meeting and I was thinking, maybe after my meeting I can run to the field house. So I mean, that's maybe what students were thinking was if I have like a test or something going on, maybe I can go later at like 8 o'clock and just catch the second half.
Right.
So I don't know, do they have a time where they like close it off?
Well, I mean, it was a great question, except it's just totally unprecedented because it's an exhibition game.
Right.
So the answer is, oh my gosh, no, we're not going to have standing room only for an exhibition game. Well, I mean, it was close.
That's
so they just wanted
crazy.
to know when are you going to close the doors? Well, we didn't have a good answer for them, but.
But I think, I mean, it is unprecedented, but it's interesting because we have such a dynamic class, and I mean, we might be one of the most polarizing teams in the NCAA this year.
Very possible.
Really anything could happen.
Well, and it's a combination of that and the unknown. It's not just an exciting class. It's a class that until last night for the most part, hadn't started a college game or played in one.
And with all the hype, I mean, around like Andrew Wiggins, the kid hasn't stepped on the floor yet to play.
He did pretty well, didn't he?
He did all right, yeah.
I mean,
I think
jitters.
everyone's expecting him to drop 25 every night, but
He was 5 of 13, right? So, a couple of them didn't go in, but they're going to start going in. And
yeah, I remember when he had a
did
wide
well.
open three that he just bricked hardcore.
It might have been his only attempt at a 3. So
yeah, that one
I
in the
don't
first half, I think so. So I don't know, but it is kind of around Halloween time. So do you have any fun Halloween KU trivia for us?
Anything you talk about can be brought back to KU in one way or another. That's how I feel about it. Halloween, sure, absolutely. Our first ever KU Missouri football game was on Halloween. And
really?
I think it was 1891.
Wow.
I wasn't able to go to that one. I had a
really?
meeting.
Oh, yeah.
But
busy that day.
I was busy.
Didn't get tickets.
It was probably class.
Yeah.
I was going to class or studying. But it was, I mean, we don't play them anymore. I've almost forgotten what they look like.
They're ugly. You don't.
Yeah,
the uniforms aren't the best.
No, that's for sure. In any case, it was we won the game 22-8, And it started, obviously, one of the oldest rivalries that is no more, and Missouri especially is so bent out of shape about it, I think because they miss us.
Yeah, I think they miss us a lot more than we miss them. We don't need them, but they need us.
But you know that, I mean, we do get, KU Info has a tip of the day that we send out. Every day that the Kansan is printed, so you can see it on page 2. Today it's talking about the KU-MU football game, and you can also sign up to get it emailed to you, and we tweet it out, stuff like that, so that, because I mean, there are lots of different ways to ask your question to KU Info.
Yeah, because you can call, you can like email, tweet, do all sorts of things.
You can text, which is the one that we're enjoying the most because it's kind of growing and growing. It's a little bit tricky because it's not our phone number. I mean, you would think you just text the same number that you call, but then consider that you're calling a KU number, which isn't a cell phone.
Yeah,
so,
it's the like landline phone at the actual desk. Now you guys do have obviously the desk here in the Union, but you guys have other booths as well around campus, right?
Yeah, we've got 3 different locations. We're at Anschutz Library right as you walk in the door. I mean, you kind of trip over us when you walk in. And then I think the lesser known one, although it's the one that everyone passes almost every day, is that we've got a little info booth on Jayhawk Boulevard right across the street from Bailey Hall. And that's the one where, any of those 3 locations, we could manage KU Info exclusively. So even if the other 2 locations were shut down or had walk-up traffic that was so busy that they couldn't take calls, our little person in the booth outside of Bailey Hall can help you out.
Which booth gets the most traffic, would you say?
Let's see. It's kind of a stair step. The booth on Jayhawk Boulevard, I think people pass right by it thinking it's a bus stop.
Right.
So we probably only get maybe around 50 to 60 questions a day there. We're also not open as long. That closes at 4. Anschutz is open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We probably get around 100 questions there. And then the Union wins the prize with about 150.
Wow.
So 300 questions a day. I think it should be more. You haven't asked a question for a while. And yet you didn't know about the Halloween football game.
Yeah, man.
I'd like for you to step to the plate.
Apparently I need to step my KU Info game up.
Everyone needs to ask us questions. We're here for you.
That's their job. They're here to help you.
We live to answer your questions.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show today, Curtis. Again, text, tweet, call in. KU Info is there for you guys 24/7.
Well, 9 to 9, Monday through Friday.
My bad. 9 to 9, Monday through Friday. Apologize. But yeah, again, Curtis Marsh, director of the of KU Info. So be sure to get in touch with them. We'll be back with Michael after a short break.
The World Health Organization confirmed 10 cases of polio among children in Syria on Tuesday, marking the first outbreak in the country since 1999. United Nations officials announced a campaign to vaccinate 2.4 million Syrian children for polio and other diseases. The vaccination effort will extend to Iraq, Turkey, and Israel. The Kansas Board of Regents requested last week for KU officials to conduct an assessment of all buildings on campus to determine how a new concealed carry law could affect the university. The law requires each campus building to provide security measures such as armed guards and metal detectors. Buildings that fail to meet the security standards would have to allow the concealed carry of guns. The university is exempted from the law until 2017. Do you like spicy food? How about the smell? Citizens of Irwindale, California are suing the makers of Sriracha chili for unpleasant smell. According to the Associated Press, the factory leaves nearby residents with a, quote, smell like having a plate of chili pepper shoved right in your face. The town is demanding the factory be shut down in order to get rid of the odor. The men's basketball team did not disappoint in its first exhibition game of the season. The Jayhawks beat Pittsburgh State 97-57 before a full house last night in Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas received balanced scoring from freshman Andrew Wiggins and sophomore Perry Ellis. Each scored 16 points to go along with the sophomore Andrew White's dozen off the bench. The Jayhawks will play another exhibition game Tuesday against Fort Hays State. The KU women will get their season underway tonight against the same Pitt State Gorillas. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m. The women's soccer team has just one more home match remaining this season. The Lady Jayhawks will host Oklahoma on Friday at 3 p.m. at the Jayhawks Soccer Complex. Kansas Median's Farzine Fasugian gives us a closer look at the Jayhawks through the eyes of goalkeeper Caitlin Stroud.
Going into the 2013 season, redshirt junior goalie Caitlin Stroud stepped in a new role and was given starting duties this season. Stroud has been an impact player for KU's defense as she is second in the Big 12 in saves with 80.
She definitely gives good direction, like where we need to go, if we need to play quickly, all of that. So it's been really exciting to see her step up.
Head coach Mark Francis is pleased with Stroud's performance this year and says what he's seen from her is no surprise to him.
We knew she was good, that's why we recruited her, but I think this is, so far this year, I think it's been our best year for sure. I just think consistency-wise, I think she's been a lot more consistent. You know, as a goalkeeper, you want them to make the saves they should make and not let in anything soft, but then you hope that they're going to pull out some saves that are going to maybe keep you in the game or keep the game close, and I think that's what she's been doing so far for us.
While playing at a high level, Stroud is also a vocal leader on the team, but tries to create a positive vibe around her teammates as well.
It doesn't hurt to crack a smile once in a while. I mean, I try to be humorous. I think the team, I'm pretty high-spirited, and I try to stay as bubbly as possible, but, you know, while maintaining that focus. So I try to take on more of a vocal, encouraging role on the team.
Reporting for the Kansan Media, I'm Farzin Vasugian.
Will advance to the conference tournament, which begins next Wednesday in Kansas City. That wraps it up for the news today. We'll take a short break and be back with Michael and Maddie.
And we're back. So Maddie, tomorrow, obviously, Halloween.
I know, I'm excited.
Do you know what you're going to be yet?
I do kind of have an idea. So me and some friends are being frat stars. So we're going to have like the Sperry's, we're going to have the like button-down shirts, like the Vineyard Vine backwards hat, and then one of us is going to wear like a T, an F, an M, and a hashtag, so hashtag total frat move.
Oh, gosh.
So that'll be fun. It'll be easy.
I was going to wear a costume today, and I had a friend on the show, and I was just going to wear it, and it was going to be hilarious.
What was it going to be?
Have you seen the movie Ted?
Yeah.
That the bear? It's basically a giant Ted costume, so I was just going to sit here in a bear suit
You
the
had
whole
a
time.
You had a Ted costume?
Well, my friend did, and I was going to pick it up this morning, and I got there, and he had to go to class, so he left it with his roommate, but his roommate wasn't there. So I was like knocking on the door, and no one was there.
Aw, that's a bummer.
But for actual Halloween, for you basketball fans out there, I'm going as, it's kind of a play on words. I'm going as Dr. J. So the 70s, back in the 70s, there was a Sixers player, Julius Erving, my favorite NBA player of all time. He had the fro and was just sick with the ball, man. He could do everything. He was so good. And so they called him Dr. J for Julius. So I'm dressing as like in full doctor suit, like mask, like hat, gloves, scrubs, all that stuff. And then I'm wearing my Julius Erving jersey like on top of it. So I'm going as like Dr. J.
That'll be
I have like
fun.
a little stethoscope and stuff. It'll be funny. I don't know.
Good. No, that'll be good.
I'm excited. Well, that's all we have for today, guys. Everybody have a fun and safe Halloween, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday.